Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Good Old Podcast. I'm Jacquie Franciulli for Wahoo's 24/7, and the start of the season is finally here. Virginia football is kicking off the season against Coast Carolina on Saturday. Now, before we get going, why don't you go ahead and like this video on YouTube and also click on the bell so you're notified whenever there is a new video. And also go ahead and head wherever you listen to your podcast and give us a 5-star review so that we can continue to grow the podcast on the show. So before we kind of get going on the depth chart, I'm going to tease a little bit what's going to happen in the second half of the show. We're actually going to have two special guests. I teased this last week, actually. Drake Metcalf and Jason Hammond are going to be on the show, and they're going to talk a little bit about the experience they've had in training camp, and they're going to help us learn a little bit more about this team, including some of those new faces, just to get an idea what the personality and identity of this team might be as we kick off the new season on Saturday. But before we welcome them in the second half of the show, let's talk about the biggest takeaways leading up to the opening kickoff, because we've had Virginia head coach Tony Elliott on Tuesday. We had both coordinators available on Wednesday. And of course, we have the first depth chart released on Tuesday. So here it is on your screen if you're on YouTube. But also, this depth chart is also available on Wahoo's 24/7 if you want to take a look at that as well. So first things first, when you look over here, you notice a lot of things are expected on this depth chart on both the offense and defense. You know, the starting offensive line is identical to what we kind of were reporting on coming out of practice. So no real surprise there. Although some names, some new transfers like Tishon Wyatt and Wolaball are not on that too deep. Some of the names that we expected to be kind of competing for those positions, or some guys that we might see edge those, are on those positions. So no real surprise on the O-line. And honestly, although there's a lot of oars on that D-line, not a lot of surprises on the defensive line either, because we kind of figured and we kind of knew from everything that the staff has been saying that they're going to rotate a lot of guys on that defensive front. And if you look on the D-line, you're going to see a lot of oars, apart from at nose tackle where Jameer Carter is the starter and Anthony Britton is behind him. But at defensive tackle, we kind of knew they were going to rotate guys, and even to Jameer Carter in that case, like Jason Hammond, Hunter Osborne, Jacob Holmes, Holmes in particular, or Goldie, as a lot of the players call him, a guy that can come down on third down situation or passing down. So again, expecting a lot of those guys to rotate. Anything that really surprised me, I honestly, not really. The only thing I will say that what's notable is that Harrison Whaley seems to have beaten out Noah Vaughn for that third spot, although Elliott did say that he expects Noah Vaughn to have snaps as well in this game, and he expects all four of them to contribute in the running game this season. And then at wide receiver, the only thing you can note is that Cam Ross and Cam Courtney are the two on the slot, while Eli Wood has made it into the two deep. But again, when Des Kitchings talked to us on Wednesday, he said 8 or 9 wide receivers would feature in this offense, especially when he's considering the first opening game. He thinks that's how much he rotate. He's still trying to figure those out and what the situations are. But he did have some praise for the freshman wide receiver that are not on the depth chart. Josiah Abdullah, Dylan Newton-Short, 2 guys that came in the spring, and also Isaiah Robinson that came in the summer. So although they're not listed, I expect them to possibly get a snap or 2 here on Saturday as well, or possibly at least in the season. But the only other thing is Daniel Rickert at Bandit. He's listed as or with Mitchell Melton, and he's a guy that kind of rose his stock a little bit during fall camp. Chandler Morris, Drake Metcalf, a lot of the guys have really sung his praises about how slippery he is. And although he's built somewhat like a linebacker, he is able to bid those one-on-ones, and people have been impressed with him coming off the edge. Linebacker, obviously, there's no Cam Robinson, but we knew that going into this game. He's still set to miss a couple games heading into the season, but he's already cleared and going back to practice with the team. His stitches were removed. So that is at linebacker. Again, you can see where that depth is because of that experience in that position. Honestly, what I was looking forward to when I was looking at the depth chart is the cornerback position, because that has been consistent from last season of Tony Elliott post Virginia Tech. He also spoke about it in spring. He spoke about it post spring. He's always been saying that they wanted to reinforce the cornerback position. Excuse me. And when you look at it, they did. Now, obviously, Jamarc Morris tore his ACL, and then was the third corner to miss the season due to an ACL tear. But they were able to bring in Jordan Robinson and Emmanuel Carnley and Donovan Platt at that position, and Josiah Persinger as a freshman. And when you look at it, you see that Jordan Robinson and Emmanuel Carnley are the two that were selected as number one, and left and right. Well, Donovan Platt, although there's no or by his name, Elliott says that he's a guy that they see rotate in on both sides. Is what he said to us on Tuesday. So expect those three to play a lot. I also expect Josiah Persinger and Kevin Gray probably to rotate in on Saturday just to get them some reps. Josiah Persinger has had received a lot of praise from people around the program for what he's been able to bring to the table. At the Spur, you have another freshman, Corey Cosner. Jason Prevard and Corey Cosner are your two at that position, but you can even say Christian Charles can kind of move in there. He's a versatile guy on this defense, so in that secondary. Devin Neal, Ethan Minter were the two that I figured would be at free safety and strong safety as your starters, especially if Antonio Clary is still out for another week or two. And then DeMarcus Crosby is behind Devin Neal. So, again, the depth chart, there are a few notable takeaways, just like Wallace Unamba winning the right tackle position, who's coming up front in the corner position. But most of the stuff was kind of expected if you've been following what we've been reporting on Wahoo's 24/7 when it comes to the training camp, and also what's going on as far as injuries. Like Sedarian Harrison had a hamstring injury, and they were just trying to see if he'll be ready for this game. Trail Harris returned to practice. He was limited all of last week, and he only returned to practice this week. So the expectation is he will be available on Saturday. But again, they do have a lot of wide receivers available if for some reason they don't want to push Trail Harris moving forward a little bit too early. Now, obviously, we have a lot of content heading into the season on Wahoo's 24/7. We were there for training camp from the first day to the last. Plenty of content coming in, just previewing the upcoming game against Coastal Carolina. We have everything that we've heard from John Rudzinski, everything we've got from Des Kitchings. We have keys to the game. We also have recruiting news because Virginia is going to be hosting a game on Saturday, which means recruits are able to visit. We already have the number 2 player in the state confirmed as going. He said he will be there. We'll have more visitors that will break in on our Caps Confidential that will be posted on Thursday evening. We have 5 players at Roser Sock. We have plenty of stuff, including a lot of features as well on Emmanuel Carnley. We have features on Wallace Unamba. We have features on Chandler Morris, Devin Neal. I mean, several features on this team and what to know before that season opener. All that's available on Wahoo's 24/7. If you're not a VIP subscriber, on Thursday, it is an opportunity to experience Wahoo's 24/7 for free. It's our Fan Appreciation Day, so you'll be able to get on the site and look at everything that is available to our VIP subscribers during the season and during the whole year, because it's never really stops between the portal and recruiting, and obviously basketball season after football. So a lot of stuff nonstop on Wahoo's 24/7. So take a look at the Fan Appreciation Day on Thursday. And then if you like what you see, we're running a 75% off sale starting on that very day. So like what you see, sign up for 75% off, and that gets you covered throughout the season and even the start of the portal season. So again, a lot of content coming. But for right now, we're going to take a quick break because, like I said, you don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from the guys themselves. So we invited Drake Metcalf and Jason Hammond to come on the show to really discuss the upcoming season. What was it like to go through training camp? What do they want fans to know about this team? And just for you to get to know this team, because there's a lot of new faces. So they're going to share their insight on this new look Virginia team as the season opens up on Saturday. So we'll be right back. And welcome back to the Good Old Podcast. Like I said before the break, we're going to have some special hosts this week. As you can see on your screen on YouTube, you see Drake Metcalf and Jason Hammond joining us on the show. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this episode.
Thanks for having us. It's good to be here.
I know you guys are kind of knee-deep in training camp, obviously probably exhausted from the work and the heat that's kind of picked up the last few days. But I kind of want to hand over the microphone to you guys to see how everything's going leading up to the new season.
Jason, you want to start?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm totally excited about the group of guys that we have coming in. I think kind of the mantra going into the season is just to let the outside noise be the outside noise. And I think so far we've just been doing that and letting our work show for it. So I think we're headed in the right direction every day. And I think if you want to add on to that, Drake, I mean, I'm really excited about the direction we're going in. So.
Right, yeah, and I mean, I think it's just so good right now that we're at a time in the year where it's kind of heating up. It's getting warmer out there on the gridiron. So we're really getting to kind of test our mettle out there on the field and see like what it's like, how guys operate under pressure when the weather's hot. You know, are guys cracking out there? Or are they able to stay firm and kind of work together as one? Obviously, O-line and D-line, like communication is key for both of our positions. So being able to operate under that, those circumstances with the weather is just really important. And like I said, it's really testing us right now, but in a beneficial way. We're getting to see who we can count on, who's going to be our guys that are able to operate under those circumstances. So it's been really great. I think it's awesome to be back out there right now, just getting after it with the guys. And it's fun. I mean, you get to be with your guys all day. Every day during this month. So you get to learn a lot about your teammates, some guys that you might not have been as close with in the past. You're getting to grow closer with those guys right now during training camp. And there's no better time to do that than right now.
You guys have a lot of opportunities to hang out off the field too, especially with that new kitchen that you guys have. It seems like you guys have the ability now to eat more together as a group. Do you feel like that helps a little bit, the camaraderie that you guys have built?
Absolutely. Like as Drake was saying, you normally don't get the opportunity to spend time with a lot of the guys in the facility that you would outside. And I think the addition of the cafeteria allows us to do that. You know, instead of guys, just going to practice and leaving, have guys going to practice and, they're required to sit down and eat and get a meal and, fellowship, break bread with your guys. And, I think that just allows guys to understand who you're playing next to, who you're playing with. And understand, that is bigger than just football. You know what I mean? That we're establishing a brotherhood here. And, when you do that, it establishes a culture, it establishes a love. You're playing for something bigger than just yourself and the team. So I think everything that we're doing here is just a testament to the things that we can build here at UVA and the things that we could do this season. So.
Yeah. Just adding on to that, like I think being able to kind of cut out the outside world right now and like it's just you guys, just us, we're inside this, these four walls right now at the FOC, and then obviously on the football field, but being able to just push away all the external influences and to just be able to focus on us. Coach has a saying, if he talks about this egg, right? And he talks about, if that egg is broken from the inside out, life begins. But if it's broken from the outside, coming in, life ends. Obviously talking about a chicken and egg. So being able to have that area, that environment right now where we can really just lean on each other. And like Jason alluded to earlier, blocking out the outside noise and just focusing on, talking to ourselves instead of listening to ourselves. You want to be able to talk to yourself, not listen to the stuff that's coming into your head. Say what you're going to do and be about that. It's just a really great time right now for us to be able to lean on each other, to learn who we are as a team, but more importantly, to learn how we are as people. Because that's, like Jason said, that's the most important thing. If you're willing to literally die out there on the football field for your brother next to you, you're going to give it, you're going to give it your all every single play. Like if I know Jason's going to go 110% every play, I'm going to do the same because I don't want to let him down either. So it's a great time right now to be able to lean on each other, learn about each other, and to just develop those brotherhood tendencies right now.
I think everyone wants to know, Drake, did something beat that chicken salad sandwich that you made when I did it behind the scenes?
And Chef Harrison and Chef Ed along with Mark Zamperini, the director there. They have been doing a phenomenal job with the food. I know the D-line, I'm sure they have their own things that they like, but the O-line, oh my goodness. They made this maple bacon. I don't know if Jason, did you try the maple bacon chicken salad a few days ago?
Yes, I did.
Oh man, that's the
put it in
best chicken
sub. Yeah,
salad
it
I've
was
ever
awesome.
had in my
my
entire
God.
life.
It was awesome.
So they've been doing good, yeah. And since we last spoke, when you came to the football operations center, they've been making a lot of really interesting stuff that's just so good. We had beef Wellington a few days ago, and I was like, wow, like I wouldn't expect this during a fall camp meal, but it works, right? You're like, holy cow, this is delicious. And they're getting us big, right? Coach Schmo took the time this entire offseason to build us up, and the nutrition staff right now, led by Ross Farrell right now, they're taking care of us and making sure that, we're getting the caloric intake right now that we need to be able to continue to succeed on the football field.
I mean, it feels like they've been successful. I think there's like 5 300-pounders on the D-line that you're facing off against, Drake.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of big boys up front. I mean, you have the big guys and you have the fast guys, but I mean, the big guys are big. I mean, you have Jason, you have all those guys, Britt, those guys up in the middle that are just, they are run stoppers. And then obviously they have the speed too, which is where that clean protein that we've been eating in the cafeteria has been coming from. So not only are they big, but they're fast and strong.
Jason, how has that been? Like seeing all these guys, like you were one of the biggest guys, you continue to gain weight. And now you see a ton of them.
Mm-hmm. You know what? And I think one of the biggest things for me, myself, going into this off season, so obviously like myself, I spent 11 months off from football. So going into this off season, my nutrition was big and key. So with the addition of having like a cafeteria and being able to go and talk to Ross about what I need to get back on my goal and how I should be hammering my muscle milks, my protein, what I should be eating outside of the facility. I think all of that was key, and it showed up for a lot of us. Even on the offensive line, like Coach E pointed out, Jack Whitmer, who was a tight end, came in as a tight end and put on like 30, 40 pounds to play right tackle. So, I mean, like, it's just a testament to all the research that has went into this program, that's went to the staff that they're putting into us. So I think it's beginning to show. A lot of the guys are looking a lot bigger, are slimming down. The weight isn't going in bad places. When you go into the cafeteria now, and they show the food, like they show what you're getting out of the food. Like, so it'll be labeled like green, red, or yellow for like what you need, like proteins, bad meats, good meats, like anything that you need to know about what you need to be putting into your body. So I think just taking that step to ensure that guys are putting in the right fuels into their body and getting everything that they need before and after practice to keep going about their training and to keep building their body, I think it's been very, very useful. I know it has for me, and I know it has for a lot of the guys, even on the offensive line. So I think everybody has been very grateful, and it's helped. I think it's helped to keep guys going. It's helped to keep our bodies to continue to grow, get bigger, stronger, faster, and even competing with each other. Now that we can compete with each other, guys are staying on the field longer. Guys are putting the right things in their body, so they're being able to stay on the field. I know everybody's talking about the injuries, but injuries are part of football. But guys are able to come back quickly, and I think that's a big thing. The fact that guys are in treatment, recovery, and handling their nutrition, and being able to come back and still practice. I think as long as we keep doing that, we're going to be good.
And kind of led into this because of the camaraderie you guys were able to build by eating. Because that's, I come from an Italian family background. So eating was kind of our love language, right? So you have 50 new faces coming into the roster. One of the ways is to get to know each other is by sitting down and eating next to, your teammate, your brother. What do we need to know about a lot of these faces? That's something fans are meeting some of these guys for the first time. You two being with them. What can you talk about all these new guys? What kind of stands out about this group? What personalities kind of emerged?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great thing that we brought guys from all over the country, right? I mean, I mentioned it in one of the articles someone wrote up the other day. Like, it's like a cultural melting pot in our locker room, on our football team. Like, we have guys all the way from the West Coast, like me in California. You have guys all the way up from New York. You have guys from way down in South Florida, and Texas, all around the country, just scattered. And they bring their values and their perspectives and their kind of traditions and rituals that they do. They bring that all at the University of Virginia. And I think, like, having that mix of guys from everywhere just makes the team better in every sense. Like, it's not the same old thing every single day that we're hearing. You get to hear from someone who, someone like David, who's from Ohio. And then I got Jason, who's from South Florida. And I just get to talk to all these guys about like their experiences, what they did, what schools they went to. It's just fun, like getting to hear that. Cause sometimes things can get stagnant when you're just talking about the same things over and over. I actually got to sit down with Jason and Coach Rudd the other day. We were having, I think it was dinner. We had dinner the other day, and we were just shooting the breeze, talking about all sorts of stuff. And like I said, it's just fun to be able to kind of hear different people's perspectives on like, what they think's going on or what fun things they're into now. And like I alluded to earlier, that really just helps you build that like relationship where I don't want to do anything than just perform out there with excellence for that guy that I'm sitting across from having dinner with, because I know they're going to do the same for me. But yeah, the O-line, I'll just speak to the O-line. They're just fun. They're just a fun group of guys. We have guys from all over. Yeah, they're so cool, and everyone just melded in so well with each other, and it just works. So I know the D-line's doing the same. Jason can speak to that, but like just seeing them from the outside in, from the O-line room in, like they love each other and they get after it, and they work hard together. So yeah.
I just wanted to agree. I was gonna agree with everything that Drake said. We have guys from Utah, California, South, like me, guys from down south. We have it is literally a cultural melting pot. But at the end of the day, that's what builds team camaraderie. So just having that, I think it allows us to go in. Knowing your guys allows you to play for them. So, just to say, I think Drake hit everything on the head. I think that's going to be one of the big key things, is that knowing that who we're playing for and playing for each other. So
you guys have a lot of big personalities on this team. Just from talking to guys post practice, post games, a lot of big personalities. Who would you say is the one that surprised you when you first met them, walking through the doors, one of the new guys? And Jason, you can start off.
I would probably say Goldie off the top of my head. Not that it surprised me, but more so just, I think just having guys, Goldie and Maddox, just seeing how they transformed. Like I'll say Goldie, because just knowing who he is as a guy and as a player on the field and what he brings to the football field, it's been different for UVA, just to say the least. I'm trying to watch my words, but it's been a different culture that he brings, and the same with Maddox. But the culture that they bring to the UVA defense is totally different. It's something that I've craved since coming and joining the staff. They've helped totally flip the mentality of, just wanting to go hunt and kill. And that's something that I've enjoyed playing under Coach Rudd, is the violent nature of playing defense. And I think that's something that we haven't really grasped in the past. But now that's who the staff focused on recruiting, is going out and getting guys that love to play football. And when you go and get those guys that love to play football, that's what comes with it. And just knowing that who these guys are outside, off the field and on the field, has helped me to just grow as a person and grow as a football player. So
yeah, I think there's a lot of fun guys too on the offensive side of the ball that I've got to meet in this whole process of them transferring in, just based on the new guys. Like, I'd say Tyshawn Wyatt is one of my closest friends on the team, speaking about the new guys, but really all of them, right? Like, you got David, Wallace, McKeelan, Brady, just all of them, Tyshawn, Monroe. Like, they're just cool guys. They're fun to be around. But I would say Tyshawn surprised me the most personality-wise, because he's not necessarily very quiet, but like he's very – I guess he is kind of a little quiet when you meet him at first. But like once you get him going, like you kind of get close to him, man, that guy likes to talk, and he's fun to talk to, because he just, we just talk about crazy stuff. He's just one of my good friends. But I mean, you have other guys too, like Ben York, another guy that's a young guy, quiet guy, but once you get him going, it's hard to get him to stop. So he's a fun guy to talk to too. And they just have interesting stuff to say. But even like skill players, I've enjoyed getting close to guys like Cam Ross, Harrison, Whaley. Obviously, our quarterbacks that we brought in are awesome. Guys on the defense too. I love Goldie as well, like Jason said. He didn't necessarily surprise me, his personality, because I know he's kind of from the West Coast area, so I know he's kind of going to be more of a chill, laid-back guy. But like just funny as the day is long. He's just like so funny. Fisher's awesome. I have so many things to say about all of our teammates that we've brought in, and then the guys that have been here. Like I said, this is my favorite team that I've been a part of in my college career, and it starts from the top down with Coach Elliott, just bringing in the right guys, handpicking the right guys, whether they're high schoolers or whether they're guys that we're bringing in from the transfer portal. It's just been like a seamless process with those guys kind of filtering in here, getting in, and then just becoming one with the Cavalier team.
One thing I noticed is a lot of you, when I talk to you, are talking about identity. Either it's the offense or the defense, trying to find the identity for the offense, something the defense, like Jason, you just talked about, going after hunt and kill, being more aggressive and more violent and loving football. I keep hearing explosive when I hear about the offense. I mean, I've gone in blind and say, how to describe the offense without leading on anybody, and everyone just keeps saying explosive. Do you feel like this is the first year that you can say that UVA has an identity on both sides of the ball? And Drake, we'll start with you, because I have been hearing the word explosive when it comes to this offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that word is perfect to define our team right now. And Coach Elliott mentioned it at practice yesterday. He kind of joked about it a little bit when he closed his eyes, but he was like, I like the way that practice sounded today. At the end of practice, he said, I like the way it sounded today. And, that's just something that not everyone will get, right? I mean, if you ask a random person on the street, like, what does football sound like? What does good football sound like? Someone that's never played or never been really close to the field, they might not know. But when you hear it, you know what good football sounds like, right? I mean, it's the crack, it's the thud, it's the guys that are just the grunting, right? It's the guys giving every last bit of themselves out there on the football field, every single play. So, yeah, I mean, I think explosive is a phenomenal word to be able to define our program right now. Both sides of the ball. Like when I go on the offensive line and I go against someone like Jason, and you hear that crack of us, helmets meeting helmets, pads meeting pads, hands meeting shoulder pads. It's a good sound, and that's a sign of an explosive team. When you hear that running back just fly by you and go through the hole and then get met by a linebacker downfield, and you hear that thud, that's what good football sounds like, pads cracking. So I think that's a phenomenal word, like I said, to be able to define us. And I think Jason can allude to it too on the defense. Like, explosive is definitely what we are right now, and he can talk more about it.
Yeah, Jason, you talked about aggressiveness. Is that you kind of agree with Drake there about the violence and just like you can hear the sounds of good football?
I agree with that. All I say is that I think we're a lot more violent than years prior. I remember last year, having to argue with guys to run to the ball and, finish on top of the ball. But if you have watched this team come together, especially like over the course of camp, we've seen that we're playing with some tenacity, offense and defense. As Drake was saying, like the offense has done a great job of opening holes and getting the pass game going. And to the credit of just establishing a run and establishing those passing lanes. But, we've also done a great job on the other side of the ball, getting home to the quarterback. And we're trying to do everything that we can to make sure that everything is balanced on both sides. But, I think if we're going with explosive on offense, one thing I can say the defense is definitely a lot more violent. I'll say that's what our team identity is for the defense. But as a whole, I think, in the direction we're going, I think we're headed in the right direction as UVA football. So I'm very excited about what our identity will be. And I think ultimately, the fans get to decide what the team identity is once we line it up and play in August 30th. But I think we're in the right direction right now.
So, yeah, I know that fans have obviously expectations for this team. You guys obviously have your own expectations. For you personally, what do you want people to know about this team?
Yeah, I want people to know that this is the culmination of just years and years of hard work, right? Coach Elliott got here a few years back, and he's been developing this football team ever since getting here. And this year we're exploding onto the scene. There's no holding back. We have all the pieces that we need right now. The guys are in a good mental space to be able to go out there and just absolutely dominate this year. And a lot of people have been asking me, what about those articles? Are you tired of hearing about the articles? The offensive line, the offensive line, the offensive line. We're tired of hearing about that. And, we have the pieces that we need to be able to go out there and shut down those people from being able to talk about, us being not successful up front. So we're really ready this year to be able to protect our quarterbacks, to be able to make sure they have enough time to sit in the pocket, to throw deep downfield to our downfield threats, and when we need to pry open holes for the running backs to make huge plays. So yeah, I mean, we're so ready right now from a sense of we want to just shut down all the negative feedback. We want to make this university proud. I've been here since last January. I got a certificate here in my program, and now I'm working on my master's in public policy. So I am a Cavalier football player, but I'm a graduate here as well. And I want to serve this school right and make the fans that we have here proud and bring that pride back here to this university and have as many fans as we can get out there for our first game, obviously against Coastal, and then moving forward. But yeah, it starts with game one, and game one, we want to make sure that people start opening their eyes across the country and seeing this is what UVA football is, an explosive football team that's ready to get after it and is proving that on the field.
So what I'd like the fans to know that we play for each other, that this is a true brotherhood this year. We don't have any more excuses, and we're not looking for any more excuses. We're not looking for any cop-outs. We're just looking to line it up and play. We're letting outside noise talk, because that's all it is at the end of the day, outside noise. We're not worried about anything other than what's in this program and everything that we're building within it. So I think we're in the right direction. As long as the fans keep supporting us and we're supporting y'all, we're playing for y'all out there just as much as we're playing for ourselves. So if we can all show up and just worry about what UVA has going on, I think we'll all get to where we want to go this year.
It's about any funny stories that you've had for fall camp that kind of show the personality of the team.
Yeah, I'd say a funny story is we have like a running joke that goes on in the O-line room. Obviously, like normally during fall camp, you'll see teams across the country like do like one fun event here and there during fall camp, just to whether it be a coach takes you, gives you the day off, during one day of fall camp, or like you go to the team pool or something like that and go hang out with the guys. Just a day to kind of relax and rewind during fall camp. It's just one that happens normally throughout all the fall camps I've been a part of. And obviously the guys have talked about it in the past here. So kind of the running joke is like, we always tell, all the guys on the team, make sure you bring your swim trunks today, hey, pool party today. And, it's funny to see some of the new guys because they're kind of like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, we're going to the pool today? And, we kind of joke around with the guys, and some of the guys get it, but some of the guys don't get it. So it's kind of like, they're like, oh, are we actually going to the pool? And then nope, 2 p.m. team meeting, we have practice. So that's fun. It's fun to get some of the guys on that.
One thing I will say is that there are a lot of characters on the defensive line, and I would say like it ranges from just about every part of the spectrum that there is for personality. You have guys that are, funny. You have guys that are, a little serious more than some. You have guys that are the clumsy ones. I don't want to put anybody on blast, but, it's a team. And I think we all done a great job of coming together and learning about each other. So, like, me and Goldie have a great time hanging out. Goldie stays in my apartment, so we hang out from time to time. I hang out with him and Kazim, and just getting to understand them and they're seeing their side of themselves and the funny moments that they have. Everybody's a comedian on this team. If that's one thing I could say, that everybody knows how to make somebody laugh, and it's greatly appreciated because you get to see guys for who they are and build that true connection. So like Goldie, TT, Britt, guys that I hang out with on my free time, just even playing a game, you get to play the game. We're on the game a lot, as a matter of fact. We stream it too, so if anybody wants to watch it, you get to see a lot more of our personalities while we're on the game. But it's funny just getting to know guys and seeing how they interact outside of football space. You get to play the game with them and just see how they respond, and just talking with them. So if it's one thing I could say that I enjoy, just getting to learn guys and being around them and seeing how that contributes to the atmosphere of the team. So I'm happy.
Who's the best Madden player then?
Me. But besides me, I would probably say Dakota Twitty. Dak is a great Madden player, and probably the only person that I've had trouble beating in Madden. But other than that, I don't know if you heard about the UVA tournament that we did the other day. But we did a UVA tournament with some fans, and that was fun too. So, but of course I won that. So, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun just getting to see guys and how they respond outside of playing football, because we're in this building for all hours of the day. So when we get to like shut off and get to talk about things other than football, it's very enjoyable and much needed. So I enjoy it.
But yeah, I mean, you can only imagine, obviously, like there's so many funny things that get, talked about in an O-line room, and, we watch the film and some guy will, do something that maybe he wasn't supposed to, or like make a heck of a block. And, always jokes get said and guys are getting each other riled up. So it's just, like I said, this is the most fun team I've been a part of. And like, I want to win so badly for this team just because of how much I love the guys around me on this football team. Coach Elliott talks about it all the time. Chris Canty came and spoke to us last week about his Super Bowl championships. And he said, once you have this ring, he said, you're a champion for life and no one can take that from you. No one can take that from you. You'll always be known as Chris Canty, next Super Bowl champion, former Super Bowl champion. That will always follow you. And that's something that he's been stressing to us, Coach Elliott, since that speech is, he's been to the mountaintop. Coach Elliott has won national championships at, one of his other schools that he was at. And, he wants us to be able to feel that same feeling, that same just infectious feeling of once you do it on the football field, you're going to chase that feeling in every aspect of your life off the football field. Because ultimately his goal is to build championship men at the University of Virginia, both on and off the football field. So that's one of the things that is just driving me so much right now and just driving me so hard is just I want to feel that feeling that so many of my friends have talked about. I've had friends that have won national championships in college football and other teams. Obviously, I've been coached by coaches that have won national championships, and I just want to be able to feel that same feeling of, to live with that honor of I'm a champion now, and I'll be a championship till the day I die because of that honor that I worked so hard to receive. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, and that's my mindset going into this season. And I can tell you that the team feels the same sentiment. We're working towards that right now and stacking it every single day, stacking bars and gold on top of one another until we reach the mountaintop.
I know the O-line likes to play tricks on each other at some point. It's just always a locker room. You want to prank each other. I hope Noah Dorsey doesn't make y'all a smoothie. I remember he did a video of his smoothie, and he includes hot sauce in his almond milk.
Oh, my gosh. That might have been before I got here, but Josie's the funniest guy in the O-line room for sure. He's just witty. He's quick when he gets back at you. Kevin Wigginton, I forgot to mention him earlier, amongst the guys that shocked me too, personality-wise. He's just such a funny guy when he talks to you. You get him chatting. He's just such a funny guy. I love Kevin. But all the guys that we've brought in are just hilarious. They just have, like I said, they have their own personalities and their own little quirks. And we make fun of each other all the time. O-line is, I think, the only room on a football team where guys are constantly just getting after each other, just joking to each other about each other, one another, laughing. It's joyous. It's great to be amongst these guys, but at the same time, Hef's going to get after us every single day. He joins in obviously to have fun with us, but he is truly, he grinds on us every single day to be the best we can possibly be. And like I said, we're working towards that right now every single day on the practice field. And we're just so excited to showcase that against Coastal Carolina.
And it's been a pleasure, guys, having you both on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's been really busy as you guys prepare for the season. So again, thanks for joining us. And again, thanks for you guys for listening. So we wouldn't have the show without you guys. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen to the show. We will be back next week. Since the season's going on, the podcast will be back every week. So we'll be looking ahead to NC State next week, and we're also talking about the first game of the season and what we learned from Virginia's first game of this. Oh, crap. 3, 2, 1. And what we learned in that first game of the season with Coastal Carolina, all the post-game coverage is coming on Wahoo's 24/7. Remember, we are running the 75% off sale. So if you want to take advantage of that, head over there, and we'll get a lot of VIP content, especially with recruiting also picking up. But for right now, hope you guys have a good rest of the week and enjoy your first weekend of Virginia football.